you. Good.
Human rights may be timeless, but our efforts to protect them must be grounded in the here and now. We find ourselves in a moment when an increasing number of governments are imposing new and crippling restrictions on the non-governmental organizations working to protect rights and enhance accountability.
Thank you, Secretary Clinton. I want to just mention a couple of other places specifically. One is China, where the government's human rights record remained poor and worsening in some areas, including increased cultural and religious repression of ethnic minorities in Xinjing, and increased detention, harassment of activists, and public interest lawyers who are increasingly under surveillance and who are being repressed. There's continuing repression in the Tibetan areas, limits on free expression, and control of the internet.
Human Rights Council.
I mentioned China, but I want to make a point of mentioning two cases that are important to us. They're in the report, but I want to highlight them. One is the case of Liu Xiaobao, who was found guilty in December of subverting state power, sentenced to 11 years. His crime is that he helped write a petition called Charter 08, which is basically a petition calling for an expansion of human rights and democracy. This is a case of particular concern to us. The second is a case of a human rights lawyer called Gao Xiaoxing, who was picked up by the police, is thought to be in detention, though his family doesn't know where he is. And again, I mentioned it earlier, but it is for us one of the trends that we see in China that we're paying a lot of attention to. In the last several years, more public interest, human rights, environmental lawyers have been taking cases. Law clinics and elsewhere are springing up. There seems to be a real crackdown.
The Spanish government using different ways.
Iran, an already poor human rights situation, rapidly deteriorated after the June elections. At least 45 people were killed in clashes. Thousands were arrested. Another 1,000 were arrested in demonstrations in December. It is a place where we are continuing to see severe repression of dissent and are continuing to pay great attention.